I was on the other side of 50 when I heard a voice inside of me say that my entire life I had been told what to do, that my purpose in life was not my purpose. And that voice, it was absolutely right. And now I was ready to find my own purpose in life. If you've heard that voice before, or you're just tired of settling, if you're tired of just going through the motions in your life, then this video is for you. I don't remember the exact day it happened, but I remember I was looking in the mirror like I always do in the morning, washing my face, brushing my teeth, getting ready for my work day, and our eyes met. And I remember seeing him. And it wasn't the guy that I normally see in the mirror every day. Our eyes connected and they locked in, and I couldn't take my eyes off of him. And him was my soul. And here's what my soul said to me. He said, Eric, you're not happy. You're stuck, you're confused, you're lost, you're frustrated. And the reason why you're struggling and suffering right now is because you've been living a lie. And my soul is absolutely right. My entire life, I had been living a lie. But he also said, it's not too late. You can start living your truth, and you can start living it today. Once I got to the age of, or once I became an adult, I started living and doing what I was told to do. I was doing what I was suggested that I should do. I was living for my parents. I was living based on my children. I was living based on how much money I could make. I was living based on the accomplishments and the achievements that I was told that I was supposed to have by a certain age. So everything that I was doing was because somebody else or society had told me this is what you're supposed to be doing, and this is what you're supposed to be doing at a certain age in my life. And none of those things ever included or considered what I actually wanted for myself. I actually sat down and tried to remember the last time that I had done something actually for me, something where it was not tied to a paycheck. It was not tied to what my parents wanted. It was not tied to what somebody thought about me, what my children thought about me, what my spouse thought about me, or what anybody wanted me to do. I sat down, and the last time that I could remember doing something that I actually wanted just for me, it was all the way back at elementary school. When was the last time you did something for you, just for you, not for your kids, not for your parents, not for some people at work, not your friends, not what you think you're supposed to be doing with your career or your life at a certain age, just looking inside of yourself and asking yourself, what do me, want to do for just me? And if you can't answer that question quickly, then like me, you've been living a lie. You've been living a life that was assigned to you. You've been living a life or a purpose that was assigned to you. And there's a real cost for continuing to live that way. 6 months from now, a year from now, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to realize that the one life you have, the one life you've been given, that life you gave away trying to please someone else, whether it was intentional or not. You're not living your own life, and you only have one. Up until that moment when I saw my soul in the mirror, for 25 years, I had been starring in a movie. It was a horror movie, now that I look back at it, where I was just working every day. I was working to pay bills. I was working to buy a new home. I was working to buy a car. I was trying to work on my career, get promoted, go on vacations. I was doing everything that somebody else wanted me to do, something that everybody else suggested that I should be doing. And the only difference between you and I in that moment is that I saw my soul and I listened to my soul. And for the first time, I was willing to pivot. I was willing to change. At that moment, I realized I did not want to live a lie anymore. I did not want to live for somebody else. I did not want to have a purpose in life that was assigned to me. I didn't want to do that anymore. And in that moment, honestly, I was really scared because it was like I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted something different, but I was also afraid that I didn't have much time left. And it's like wanting something but not knowing if you'll ever get it. And that's a really scary thing. If you want help figuring out what you want to do in your life, if you're trying to figure out who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of just going through the motions every day, if you're tired of living a life that was assigned to you, living a life or living a purpose that was assigned to you by somebody else or by society, click on the link in the description below and you can book a one-on-one call with me. Hope is not a strategy. You have to have a plan, and you can put a plan together for your life starting today. By the time you get to our age, you figure out a lot of things. You've got a lot of experience behind you. And you might be thinking, you know what? I figured everything else out in my life. I can figure this out too. Maybe it's another promotion. Maybe it's a bigger salary. Maybe it's a new car. Maybe it's a bigger house. Maybe it's you following your purpose or what you think is your purpose. Maybe it's you finding something you're passionate about and following that. And none of those things are foolish to try. I've tried a lot of them. You maybe have tried a few of them. You might have tried all of them. But the one fundamental thing that none of those things can accomplish, that none of those things can do, that none of those things can bring you to a reality. There's a question that none of those things answer. And the question is, what does my soul want to actually experience in this life through me? That's the question that none of those things can answer. No promotion, no passion, no project is going to answer that question. It has to be answered in an entirely different way. And that's what I'm going to show you. This is going to sound a little different than what you've heard your entire life. I don't believe that envy and jealousy are sins. I believe that envy and jealousy are signals, they're signs, they're indicators. Look at the people that you envy. And I look at the people that you're jealous of. And I don't mean look at them from the perspective of like what they have, like what kind of car they drive, or the house they live, or some status. Not anything that surface level. I want you to look at it deeper, on a much more foundational level. I want you to look at what is it about that person that you kind of admire. Something about that person that you look at and you have a respect for, and it feels like envy and it feels like jealousy, but in my opinion, it's really you just having a deep respect for what that person has accomplished or achieved. It's not about the things that they have. And it might not be anybody that you consider to be famous or like a athlete or a singer or a movie star. It could be someone as simple as your neighbor or somebody within your organization. It might be a manager or an executive. It might be somebody that you just see running a business every day. You might be somebody, an entrepreneur, somebody who runs a grocery store, somebody who runs a small service or small product business. It's not anything or anyone that's this huge, enormous star. It could be somebody that's a regular person just like you. And nobody around you notices the person. Nobody seems to have any kind of feeling about that person. No jealousy, no envy, no admiration, no respect. Nobody even notices that person, but you do. And the reason you notice them is because when you see a person like that you envy, that you're jealous of, that's a sign. That's your soul telling you that that person there, that's the person that you could be. That's the person that you identify with. That's your soul saying that that's what you could accomplish. That's what you could achieve. Whenever you hear yourself say something like, oh, I could do that, that's your soul talking directly to you saying that, hey, That idea you had, that idea you have, that's an example of you being successful with that idea. That's an example of you accomplishing or achieving with that idea or that thought. That's your soul telling you that, is using that person as an example of what you could be if you just honor and devote yourself to that idea, devote yourself to that way of living for yourself. And that's why it appears to be envy. It appears to be jealousy, because you're looking at that person and you're thinking, I had that idea, or I could do that. And you don't really see it being a huge effort, because in your mind, in your soul, really in your soul, you know that's something that you actually want to do. The only difference is between you and that person that you're looking at, that exemplifies what you could have accomplished or achieved. The only difference is that person, when their logical mind stepped in and said, you can't do this for 20 different reasons, they ignored their logical mind. They ignored all of those thoughts of doubt, and they listened once again to their soul. And they began to take steps that their soul wanted them to take to accomplish those things and achieve those things and become that person that they know they could become. But for 95% of people, they listen to that logical mind and they go right back to doing what they've always done, and they go back to that life of being stuck. So stop treating jealousy and envy like they're these sinful emotions. They're signals, they're indicators, it's almost like data point. That's your soul saying to you that that's the door you need to walk through. And if you walk through that door, that's what you'll look like on the other side. So here's a little exercise that I've done for myself, and I want to share it with you. The next time that you see someone that you're so-called envious of or jealous of, I want you to write that person's name down. And I also want you to write down something about that person, or what you perceive is the quality that brought that person to you or made that person visible to you or seen to you. And you'll see with each one of those people that there's something in common with that person that you have. It might be an idea. It might be a work ethic. It might be the way they think, the way they go about their business. But it's not about what they have, or what like I said, kind of car they're driving, or their career, or their status. It's not about that. And it might even make you frustrated, because I know the names that I wrote down, I looked at those people, and one or two of them actually had or had built a life around an idea of something that they have, and I had the same idea. I just didn't act on the idea when it came to me. And it only takes you a few minutes to do this, so you don't have to put together a 5-year plan or anything like that. It only takes you 15 minutes to really see um, how other people can can be examples of the greatness that's already inside of you if you just take action. Your soul is the one thing that's been constant in your life. It's always trying to reach you. It's always trying to get your attention. It's always trying to say, or to get you to see, that what you're doing, the reason you're frustrated, the reason you're unhappy, the reason you're confused, the reason you're stuck, is because you're not listening to what your soul is trying to say to you every single day. So this is just one more way that your soul is trying to speak to you, but it's been masked, or it's been identified as jealousy and envy. It's a bad thing, but it's not. It's a good thing when you use it for the purpose that it was intended. If you just act on the idea that you have, when you get tired of going through the motions, when you get tired of living a life that was assigned to you, when you get tired of living a purpose that was assigned to you, when you're ready to live your own purpose, then use these people that you envy, these people that you are jealous of, and use them as examples of what is possible for you and what is in you. And if you're ready to start living your own purpose, if you're ready to stop going through the motions, if you want to live a life and doing the things that only you truly want to do, to be, and to have. If you want to start listening to what your soul is telling you, to experience the life your soul wants to experience, if you're ready for that, click on the link in the description below and check out this next video.